This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. This is it. Give me that pound. Give me that pound. That khaki came up nice. That white was back.
London Ultracab this week. We have on the All City Taxi Talk Show radio broadcaster, interviewer, TV presenter and international hip-hop DJ Sarah Love in the back.
Yay!
How are you?
I'm good, and I'm not too cool for seatbelts.
Exactly. But no, it's great to have you in the back of the London Ultracab.
Oh, it's my pleasure and it's my honour. Like, seriously, I really respect everything you're doing. It's so wonderful hearing everybody's stories, and there's not many platforms where I get to hear these people chat in such depth, you know, so props and respect to you. Keep it up, man. Seriously, you're killing it.
And first two questions I've got is where you actually from and what was it like growing up as a kid?
What's your name? Where'd you come from?
Exactly, yeah.
So I'm born and raised in Wood Green.
North side.
Yeah. And you said, what was it like growing up as a kid?
Yeah, when did you grow up? Was it like in the 90s?
I'm an 80s baby. I'm born in the 80s. Grew up, yeah. And
so you're still a young fledgling.
I know. Well, that's the thing. Like, that's why I feel so lucky it was so nice to see Scam's interview and hearing him talking about being born in the 60s, growing up in the 70s and everything, and like Scam being one of the first people that I really got to know through the hip hop scene and stuff. Like, all these people are like big brothers to me, and like, what a privilege, what a blessing, like, for me to be able to grow up around those kind of cats. So
yeah, and it's nice to hear their stories. I mean, lucky I grew up in the late 60s, early 70s as well, so our kind of history is kind of the same, so it's quite nice to hear, you know, other little bits and pieces of people in the same kind of era as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially with Scam being from West, me being from South East London, and getting that kind of connection to what it was like back there from the different areas.
Yeah, and don't you think like that's so different? Because in the past it was like we were worlds apart, being north, south, east, west kind of thing.
That's right, yeah, because as I said to Scam, everyone, like London was like, it was like pockets of little villages with their own little thing going on.
Yeah.
So it was quite nice hearing about what was going on in those pockets, in those parts of London.
Definitely. I mean, I'm born in August, so I was always the youngest in my year at school as well, and I'm the youngest of four sisters. Yeah. And so I've always just been used to being the youngest in whatever crew.
So your sisters, no boys in the...
No boys, my poor daddy, yeah. Yeah, and then there's like, 5 nieces. And then
proper girl power.
Yeah, proper girl power. Growing up in being the youngest of 4 girls, like, again, that's why I was so lucky, because really my sisters, they're the ones who booted down all the doors for me, and they were the ones who originally introduced me to hip-hop, and, you know, my parents are the ones who introduced me to a lot of international music, and they're musicians themselves as jazz musicians. They used to take us to a lot of gigs and things too, and, you know, we grew up on the road and in studios and stuff, and but yeah, I mean, being the youngest, you were always kind of carried through what they were experiencing, so it was thanks to them that I got exposed to people like the early Westwood days and Slick Rick and all these guys. I think my earliest memory of hip-hop is probably from around 1986 or something. Me and my sisters at home, I just remember us trying to like body pop and practicing doing this for like hours and stuff, and, you know, all the kind of things that they were just catching on to. I mean, they weren't hip-hop heads, so it was just what was cool around the time for them, so trying to pop and lock and watching movies and stuff, but but then later I think that's when I really when I was older and it was on my own means where I really kind of started digging deeper into hip-hop and stuff, and then I guess a key turning point for me was starting working at Deal Real Records.
I was going to say, yeah, so you was at the original shop?
Yes, at the original Deal Real, I started working there in 1999. I didn't even know Deal Real actually existed, but that day I went into record shopping in Soho.
Yeah.
And I went into Mr. Bongo's, and then I asked them if they had any jobs, and they were like, no. So I was like, okay, bye. And then I was just walking down Berwick Street, and then I just heard this hip hop booming out. I was like, oh my God, where the hell is this? And then I just looked down the side street, Knoll Street, and I saw a bunch of people and just like the Deal Real sign sort of all graphed up and everything, and the music blaring. And so I just walked in there. It was just full of dudes. This was like around Saturday, so Saturday was always like the busiest day for record shopping. And I just went up to the counter and I said to Pete Real, well, no, I was first asking after some records, and then I said to Pete Real, have you got any jobs going here? And then he was like, well, actually.
Actually, I might have.
Yeah.
Yeah. What, and then he basically took you on?
Yeah, then basically he gave me a job, and I started.
So it's like a Saturday job, part-time type thing.
Yeah, so it was Saturdays, and then I'd work, just whatever days like he had free for me, because and then again, like, I just feel so lucky to have been part of that last analog generation and the record shop community and era, because then it really was like, you had, Soho was a real hub for the record shops, and during my lunch hour I was able to just walk down Berwick Street and do the circuit around all the stores in that area and pick up, go record shopping, just get my fingers nice and dusty. And then when I was working in the shop and the shop was quiet, I was just teaching myself to DJ. And then at the same time, Deal Real, that's what was so unique about Deal Real, is because it was a center point for the community. Like, that was a place where people gathered and would just chat nonsense, politic about hip hop, hang out, like ciphers, all kinds of fun and dodgy behaviour going on. But it was more than just like going there and buy whatever came out that week.
It was like hanging around there and practicing your skills, your MCing and...
Yeah.
Did you dancers in there as well, or was it mainly like MCs?
Oh, everybody there, because like I say, it was just like a hub for the hip hop community. So I mean, that was where I met Scam, that was where I met Sir Drew, the Scratch Perverts, people like Mr. Dexter, Rodney P, Task Force, Skinny Man, like all of these legends.
They was all going up.
Oh yeah, they were all there, and for them, I mean, maybe it's I'm assuming here, but to me, and I think to them, that was like a home for us as a hip hop community, and that's all thanks to what Pete Real, who started Deal Real, and before that he had the record store Handspun. He's the person who nurtured that whole vibe in Deal Real and made it more than just exchanging vinyl for cash over a counter. And yeah, I mean, it was, and basically every day after the shops closed, it was like an after party every day in the shop, and there were always people hanging out on the pavement outside as well. And that's just a real golden time in my life, where I just feel so privileged to have been able to be part of that. Another important person that I met at thanks to Deal Real was Tony Monson, who is like this legendary soul boogie DJ, and his history is just incredible. You should get him in the back of the Ultracab.
Yeah.
He's like one of my all-time favourite
So was he like a big influence on you?
Oh, I would say so, because...
I was going to ask you about influences, so he would be one.
I would say, like, for me, there's always a few DJs that I always have to name check when I think of people that when I saw them, I was like, oh my God, I want to be like them when I grow up.
Can you let's give me a name check?
Okay, so Shorty Blitz, I think... If the aliens were coming down to Earth and it was like, right, each country needs to send a DJ to go and save the planet, we're sending Shorty Blitz. Like, I don't, I would hit us up on the Ultracab email, whatever it is. Tell me who you got that can test Shorty Blitz. I've never seen Shorty not smash a party. I've never seen him not smash a genre. Like, he can dip into any kind of music and kill it. And like, the guy has got he knows his history. Like, he's a craftsman. He's just one of the illest technicians. Like, he's got the nastiest skills, and he's just such a lovely, lovely guy. And yeah, and so it's like, I just have so much love, admiration and respect for Shorty. So Shorty definitely. Harry Love, someone who's a massive influence on me as a DJ too. Tony Monson, like I said before, because Tony's someone who really has, like, I mean, he's the person who broke a lot of records, and going back to like the 70s and 60s and stuff from the soul, funk, boogie side of things. The guy is like a walking encyclopedia of music. Yeah. So I just, and again, he's such an amazing party rocker. So yeah, Tony Monson, another DJ, rest in peace, DJ Lacey. I mean, I remember that before I was a DJ, I didn't even know who he was, and I saw him DJing somewhere, and I was just like, wow, I want to do that. Yeah. Like, he was doing like
he was taking it to another level, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it was, yes, and it was just like the selection, and again, just the party rocking, and just making people dance, you know, making people want to dance, which ultimately that's what it's about as a DJ, in my opinion, making people want to dance whether they want to dance or not. And so Lacey and Cash Money, DJ Cash Money for me is a terrorist on the turntables. Like, I mean, there's loads of important DJs to name check out of the UK, but on a personal level, I'd say those are some of the most significant to my story. Anyway.
Cash Money from stateside.
Yeah, DJ Cash Money. Yeah. Because I just think he set like a template for like most of my favourite DJs. They all looked up to and wanted to be like him, really. So he's kind of got to go in that DJ Mount Rushmore kind of status DJ, I think, sort of thing. But yeah, just an amazing DJ. Like, you know, he's got the body tricks, he's got the flavour, he's got the cuts, he knows his music. Like, yeah, so I love him too. So yeah, I'd say those are key DJs for me. There's many more others as well.
So going back to after like the record shop, Deal Real, you got into it was the Kung Fu parties, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So tell me about what's the Kung Fu parties? What was that about?
So Kung Fu was based.
I love the name of it as well.
But it's so kind of accidental how it all fell together, because it's funny, a lot of people think they know the story of how Kung Fu started, even some people who were involved with Kung Fu, you know, but the real origins of Kung Fu was I used to go to school with these two guys called Leo and Charlie, and then we were friends at school. Then I left school and went on to do my own thing and everything, and lost contact with them. And then one day I just randomly, I was changing trains at King's Cross Tube Station.
And you bumped into one of them?
And I bumped into Leo from, Leo.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh my God, Leo, oh my God, Sarah, I haven't seen you for years, how are you? Oh, I missed you so much, I'm so happy to bump into you. He was like, I was like, what are you up to? He's like, oh, I'm starting a party and getting into promotion. I was like, no way, I've just started DJing.
So it's perfect timing.
It was, yeah, really perfect timing. And because at this time it was like Deal Real was about to close kind of thing, and I'd been teaching myself to DJ. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus yet. I was teaching myself to DJ. I taught myself to DJ.
I was going to say, so when did you buy did you have what, Technic 1200s, 1210s?
Yeah, I was lucky. I had access to some 1210s, and then, like I said, then I started working in Deal Real, and it was just during when the shop was quiet, just pulling records off the shelf, practicing, learning how to do, just watching and seeing what people were doing, and then just trying to copy it myself. I mean, I had a boyfriend at the time who was a dope DJ, and I remember asking him to show me some things, and he refused. He said no. And so I was like, okay, challenge accepted. And then and that was an important lesson for me just in terms of the music industry, because, you know, I've been 17 years DJing as a professional in this game, and I've done that as a soloist. I didn't get my name from being somebody's DJ or from, you know, doing something else, and then I was like, oh, let me just try and this. No one can take credit for the work that I put in myself.
So you was pretty much self-taught.
Yeah, entirely.
You're sort of thrown in at like the deep end, and you know, you had to like basically get on with it.
Yeah, definitely. And then again, that's a wonderful thing about being part of Deal Real, because imagine it's like that was the home of the Scratch Perverts.
Was it?
Yeah, like, right. So the Scratch Perverts formed in the original Deal Real in Knoll Street, and so, I mean, imagine the caliber of Shorty Blitz used to work in Deal Real, DJ MK used to work in Deal Real, so you imagine the caliber of people who were coming through that shop. So to me, I understood the bar was here, and also this was your real, for lack of a better word, real hip-hop dudes, where it's no biting allowed, no faking, no, you know, whackness allowed kind of thing. So I understood from the outset that there was nothing, I had to come with the goodness kind of thing, and there was nothing, I couldn't fall back on like, oh yeah, I'm a girl, so that's okay. And so it all implanted in my mind, I need to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with these cats and hold my own kind of thing. And so that's what I strived to do. And then so I had just kind of started teaching myself to DJ, and then bumped into Leo at King's Cross tube station, changing trains, and he was like, oh, wicked. I said, yeah, I've just started teaching myself to DJ. What kind of night are you doing? He was like, oh, well, it's like drum and bass, jungle, a bit of garage. And I was like, oh, well, I'm playing hip hop.
Yeah.
And so he was like, cool, well, come bring your records down. And so, these dudes are trying to help the Ultracab. No, it's not for you. I'm already here. You've got to earn your dues first. No. And so when
so he brought you in to basically like rep the hip hop.
Well, it was more like they had already found this venue which was on Upper Street in Islington, and they had a date planned, and so they had already organised their event where they had these other jungle DJs, and then I was like, right, well, I'm going to come and DJ and I'm going to play hip hop. So they were like, cool. They had photocopied their own flyers, like, so it was 6 flyers on one piece of A4, then cut out by hand, and then that was my first ever DJ gig, and that was like...
And you must have been was you really nervous, or was you alright?
I wasn't really, I'm not really someone who gets nervous, really, because I just think it's kind of like a mind over matter, and there's too much to be concentrating on to, waste the energy getting nervous about something. But, you know, still, it's like your adrenaline. If nerves is adrenaline and, like, the excitement and stuff, then I guess I was nervous, but I didn't feel like, oh my god, kind of thing. But at the same,
is this going back to like the record days where you turn up with like a box of records and play a record, like a vinyl?
Yeah, and that's the other thing that I mean why I feel so lucky to have began as a DJ in the analog era. This is way before Serato.
And all that.
Yeah, and so, you know, I started as a DJ all vinyl. I began touring the world as a DJ all vinyl. I had the calluses on the palms of my hands to prove it from carrying, literally carrying around the world 25 kilo record boxes.
I was going to say, you must have been struggling because, you know, you're not like a big guy or nothing like that. Because I remember trying to carry a box back in the day as well, and the thing weighs a ton, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you must have had ones on wheels, like a suitcase or something.
No, I didn't have one on wheels. I had one, flight case record box, and that used to be like, I think when I had it round to capacity, where it was just overpacked, that was 24 kilos. And then I also had like a shoulder bag, which was that I would take hand luggage to. This was also the era before like they were getting really strict with the weight allowances on planes, so you could get away with checking your luggage bag and the record bag too. But yeah, so you know, it's like I know that I cut my teeth like carrying every vinyl digging for records, like knowing how to find the selection, knowing how to switch records like on the fly and everything when you're actually DJing. But yeah, so that first gig on Upper Street, I think the venue was called Cuba Libre. That was just, I was the only person there from any kind of hip hop contingency.
So when was that, like 90s?
No, so that was in the year 2000.
Right. Yeah.
And then shortly after that, Deal Real shut down. And then so that was in year 2000 with the first ever Kung Fu night on Upper Street. And then after that, I was like saying to Leo and Charlie, because it wasn't, maybe there were like 15 people in there and 3 of those people were members of my family. And then my dad was there. And after that night, I remember saying to Leo and Charlie, I was like, yeah, that was cool, but I think I know a really dope hip-hop DJ who's and a really dope guy who'd be great to be a host. Like, why don't we bring them in? And because also, like, I know how to tap into the whole hip-hop community, like, because of me, the people that and the community that I knew through Deal Real and stuff. And so they were like, okay, cool. And so then that's where I told Leo and Charlie about DJ Harry Love, who was also a resident at Kung Fu, and Maestro at the time, called Maestro, is now My Stiggy. And so Maestro became the host of Kung Fu, and Charlie was Harry was the other resident DJ alongside myself, and there was another dude called Kevlar.
Was Maestro like the hype man, the MC?
So he was the host of the whole night. So he was the guy who was introducing all the acts, hyping while we were DJing.
Like the hype man.
Managing the whole open mic. Every month we'd have an open mic at every event too. He was the person, like the compere of the evening and everything.
And how long did that go for, the Kung Fu parties?
So Kung Fu then eventually gravitated to Camden, and we just took it over, and it became a out-and-out hip-hop monthly party that then was in WKD in Camden. Then we moved to Underworld in Camden. Then we started doing bigger events at places like Coco, Jazz Caf, and other spots around town. And then
they're big venues as well then?
Yeah, so like I'm saying, the first ever Kung Fu that I DJ'd at, and that was the first ever Kung Fu, was 15 people on Upper Street, and our final Kung Fu was like 2,000 people, where we were doing events with like Raekwon of Wu-Tang, Guru, rest in peace, and it was just a beautiful thing because the whole time we were always showcasing UK artists, the UK scene, and we always had that open mic element, which is why me and Mice wanted to bring the open mic to our current radio show. That's where we wanted to keep that concept going. So yeah, Kung Fu ran for like 7 years as a monthly party non-stop. We did shows internationally as well as a crew, and that really was the place where, because I was just doing so much DJing and in front of people where I didn't want to flop. So I just really felt it was important for me to kill it every event, and then from there, that's where I began DJing at other events and then DJing internationally as well.
As a DJ, you've played, as you just said, like UK and internationally as well. You played with people like Grandmaster Flash, Jazzy Jeff, Wu-Tang, and like The Roots, to name but a few.
Yeah.
What countries you DJ'd in?
I DJ'd in Australasia, Africa, America. I haven't been to Latin America yet, Europe. I mean, I've been in Cambodia, Thailand, New Zealand, Australia, France, Austria, Germany, Italy, Spain, Sweden.
Yeah.
Have I DJ'd in Norway? No, I've not DJ'd in Norway. Quite a big list. Puerto Rico, America, in the States. Where else have I DJ'd? Many. India, Sri Lanka, Hong Kong.
It's taking you like literally all over.
Yeah, I know, all over. And that's the other thing. I've been to all of these places as a solo DJ, where on the flyer it's DJ Sarah Love. It ain't like me there DJing for somebody kind of thing. And you know, there's not many. Also, that's what I meant to ask. Am I the first woman in the back of the Ultracab scene?
I was going to say you're the first. You are the first lady in hip hop in the cab.
I'm quite proud of that achievement. Now my work is done, I can retire.
You can relax.
Yeah. Wow, that's quite something. Because that's what I mean. Like, it's not many women that. Well, there's not even, and that's the thing. I've never looked at myself as, oh, I'm a woman doing this. Like,
well, I was gonna mention that to you. Being a woman, you know, has it ever come with any like drawbacks? Because you know, hip hop is quite a male-dominated kind of scene, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just used now to being called bruv and bro and stuff because like I'm always. Most of the time the only girl amongst the whole bunch of dudes, and I mean drawbacks, I wouldn't say so. I've never felt any kind of disadvantage. I mean, to me it's more amusing because I guess people assume, you say to them you're a DJ or something and they assume, they're like, oh bless you kind of thing, and they assume that that's just some kind of gimmick because especially nowadays, I mean there's lots of like models and celebrities who are just like pressing the space bar and going out doing DJ gigs and stuff, and I've never been one of them DJs. Like I say, I cut my teeth getting the calluses on my hand, teaching myself how to scratch and cut and mix, and you know, I was determined to have the respect of my peers that I admired. So I was just always focused on, I want to make sure I'm tearing up that next DJ, and it's never been about I'm a girl doing this or whatever. That's not ever even been in my mind, you know. But and there's not, and so I was going to say there's not many women who are in hip hop who I can say have necessarily. I've DJed in over 30 countries around the world, in 5 continents, and you know, but there's not many DJs in hip hop full stop who can say that. So there's definitely advantages to being a woman in hip hop, and there's challenges as well, but I accept them all. It's just a bit of fun. I mean, I get to do something that I love for a living, and so I haven't really got anything to complain about, and I love the music, you know, and I see it as my duty with the platform that I have earned to represent my community, you know, and so I've strived to do that in everything I've done, whether that's DJing live or on the radio or through television.
The first DJ, woman DJ that I see DJing was DJ Jazzy Joyce.
Oh yeah.
He's from Bronx River.
Yes.
And I met her back in 1985 at this place called the Rap Attack Jam in the Shore Theatre in London.
Wow.
And Bronx River Posse come over with Bambata, DJ Red Alert, Grim, and they set up workshops and they was teaching us as kids how to basically fine-tune the elements of hip-hop. So Jazzy Joyce was teaching us how to DJ and scratch vinyl, and Lisa Lee was teaching us how to MC, and Red Alert was teaching us the DJ, and Grim was teaching us like rap.
Wow.
So Jazzy Joyce was the first woman basically in hip-hop that as a DJ that, you know, I met, which was unbelievable, in 1985.
What a privilege that you got that experience, because I wish that I could have been around to see them kind of things, you know, like
that's just an age thing for me, but yeah.
But I mean, I had so much respect for her, like, and yeah, it's people like her who, you know, Spinderella, you got to give her props too, kind of thing, and is that these are people who are really broken down the doors and they don't really get enough of a shout out, and that's the other thing. Even just looking at a DJ, like when you look at someone like Jam Master Jay, he just looks cool.
Of course.
You know, I always was drawn.
Like the fact that as part of the hip hop scene, it ain't just about music. It's also about the fashion, what you're wearing. I mean, what you got on today? You're wearing that camouflage top. You know, you've probably got some like nice pair of trainers on and beads and all, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's all part of the hip hop thing.
Yeah, no, it is definitely, because you're representing like your your signature, of who you are, kind of thing.
That's right.
And I think that's also what I think's a bit of a shame now, because now we have like a much more homogenized style. Like, do you remember them days, Steve, when you could look at someone's shoes and you could tell what kind of music they were into?
Yeah, of course.
I miss those days, because I love the fact that obviously like shell toes and everything. Oh, I miss those days. I love today as well, okay? I'm not like some just stuck in the past person, but despite what many people might say. You know, but those times when, you know, bring back the crusties, man. Like, you know, the times when it's like you had the trendies and the casuals, and it's like you could see someone in the street and you knew that they were into hip hop. And but whereas now, because it's all been hijacked by corporate entities, where they have taken our style and they've turned it into this mass marketed thing. So
and now you can't tell.
And now you can't. Well, I mean, you can be anywhere in the world, and
I'll be honest, I think I can tell.
There are still telltale signs.
Yeah.
There are. I mean, looking at you, coming and meeting you today with your beads on.
Yeah. Well,
of course, if I saw somewhere in there, and I'm like, okay, kind of thing. Style as well. It's become much more a generic kind of homogenized thing these days, which is cool, but yeah, it was just really cool when you could see someone on the other side of the street and it was like, yes, I see you, kind of thing. But it's not really quite like that anymore in quite the same way. But yeah,
it's all been a bit like commercialised now, isn't it? So, you know, people wearing the buffalo hats or the gazelles, the shell toes. You know, all that was fresh, and back in the day, you know, he's wearing all that kind of style, but now every Tom, Dick and Harry's wearing that kind of style now.
Yeah.
And they could be into literally anything, not just hip-hop.
Yes, and I mean, it's because and that's why hip-hop is such an important genre. Like, imagine how many genres have been and gone. I'm not knocking them in the time that hip-hop has been alive. You know, and we're here still standing, still setting trends, musically, stylistically, you know, and like I'm saying, to me, I was always just musically, I was always drawn to hip-hop. I don't remember first hearing hip-hop. It was something that was always around me, thanks to my sisters. But visually, I was always also drawn to the DJ. I never wanted to be an MC kind of thing. I just liked the idea, the technicality, just using the machinery, the turntables, the technicality, and then just, the coolness. I just thought DJs look cool. I always loved vinyl as well. I was fascinated by my parents' vinyl collection. So, yeah, there's lots of sort of stylistic things as well, I think, that feed into my attraction to hip-hop too.
Because I was going to say to you, have you read any other elements of hip-hop, like body popping or beatboxing, MCing, or is it mainly DJing?
No, I would never claim to be at any kind of level beyond a joke of repping any other element of hip-hop. No, I've always...
The DJ thing was your thing?
Yeah, I was always like into it, because I think I came from a musical background. I was a musician first, and then the next instrument that I took on was the turntables. And
what did you play then? What instrument?
I was a drummer since age 9.
A drummer?
Yeah,
wow.
I was a drummer since age 9. My sister's a bass player. We had band together. Like I say, my parents are both musicians, and we had lots of musicians in our household, like their bands practicing and things like that happening in our household. So I was always around live music, and then being taken to shows by our parents, and then I discovered DJing, and so it kind of started eclipsing other, and I was making, because then I went to music college and I was making a lot of music, but then as my DJ career just kind of snowballed, it just ended up dominating a lot of my time, so I neglected other areas of music. But no, I was never a rapper, I was never a big girl, I was never a grapper, you know, or anything.
Well, here's a good question for you, Sarah. If you was to be DJing at a club, is there like 5 tracks on your sort of playlist that you think, I've got to play these?
You see, it depends.
I know it depends on the crowd.
Well, it depends on the party.
And the party, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, can you give me your top 5 tracks of all time?
No way. No way. Because like I say, I mean, I listen to Bach. I listen to, like, Marvin Gaye is probably my favourite artist of all time, but then at the same time, you can't compare Marvin Gaye with Big L.
No.
You know,
that's
so...
a totally different style of music.
Yeah. And
as a hip-hop DJ, can you give me your 5 hip-hop tunes?
See, even that is tough. And then even like the other day, there was that stupid list of the top 22 duos of all time, and it's like, even just to answer a question like that, I think you've got to break it down even like per decade. That's even tough to answer. And then, I mean, then you've got your tunes which are like club banger type tunes. And then there's songs where those are the tunes that you might listen to at home as you're falling asleep, sort of thing. And so it's quite tough. I mean, if you're just trying to like there's the obvious like predictable songs which have been played in every commercial hip-hop club since they came out, which always blow up a dance floor, like Jump Around or something, or Sound of the Police or whatever. So I mean, that's what I'm saying, it's hard to answer a question like that.
Well, no, you've answered it, and you've answered it the best way you can, and I love the answer to that question.
Oh, bless you, Steve.
And it's a great answer.
Well, yeah, it's a tough one to answer.
No, it's a tough one.
There's also, my brain is just bombarded with music where it's suddenly like, oh, whittle it down kind of thing. But yeah, on the way here, on my shuffle.
Yeah, what are you listening to?
Well, on the shuffle, first it was Milton Wright, Keep It Up, which that's one of my favourite songs. And that always reminds me of Deal Real and Pete Real, because it was him who introduced me to that record. And then after that was Mobb Deep, Right Back At You, and I was just like on the tube, just at the screw face head nod. That's the problem I have often. If I'm listening to music on my headphones in public, I must just look like a nutter, because I can't help but get into the music and want to nod my head and stuff. So it was so Mobb Deep was blaring on the way here.
Right, so tell me about what's going on at the moment then. So you're DJing on a station called Fubar.
Yeah, so Fubar Radio.
How does that work? Is it a radio or is it like an internet kind of station?
It's an internet radio station. It's the UK's largest unregulated station. It's entirely censorship-free and advertising-free, which was one of the things that attracted me to it, because I used to do the hip-hop show for BBC Radio 1 Extra, which that was fantastic. I also used to host their weekend wake-up show as well, and that was an amazing time for me to learn a lot about broadcasting in the corporate world. But what I also realised, and this is why things like Westwood were so pioneering.
Well, when he was on LWR Kiss.
All of these DJs, and I was going to say, or a David Rodigan or a Tony Monson, is because this is the way that you make pioneering, interesting radio, is by you hire people who know what they're talking about and you let them do what they need to do, and you trust that they know what they're going to make the right decisions. You don't make interesting radio by having someone who sits in an office at a desk calling shots on what a hip-hop show should be. And I understand, like for the BBC, they have very tight, I mean, it's a lot of bureaucracy going on there because it's funded by the public, so they have a very strict remit that they need to meet as a broadcaster, and if they don't, they can have their license cut, you know. So there were a lot of restrictions on what I was allowed to do with that hip-hop show, and so I just worked within every loophole that I could to make sure that I was still championing what I felt true to my heart, and doing the right thing for my community that served, you know, that helped get me to where get me in that position. And so starting the show with Fubar, the way that started, I was invited by a friend of mine from Australia, Hugh Joseph. he said to me, "Oh, I'm moving to London. Will you? Are you interested in co-hosting the show with me? I've also asked Doc Brown." And so I was like, "Okay, cool." So then we started this show, the three of us, and then I approached the station and I said to them, "What do you think about doing a hip hop show?" Because Food Bar Radio is a talk radio show.
Oh, right, so there was no music at all?
Yeah, so it's just a talk radio station, sorry. And so I said to them, what about if we do a hip-hop talk radio show? Because we've never had anything like that in the UK. And so they were like, okay. And I said, I've got someone in mind that I think would be a great co-host, my bro, my Stiggy. And how about, we just do the hip-hop show for Food Bar Radio? So they were like, okay, cool, like, yeah, do whatever you want. And so they've literally let us build the show and make it what they trust that we know about hip hop and what the hip hop show should be. And I feel that that's why we're doing something which is pretty cutting edge and exciting. I mean, there's, like I said, censorship free, so you can play the music as it is. That was a ridiculous thing at the BBC, like, you know, the amount of censorship on songs, and it's like, this is hip hop. And like, when you're just getting so pedantic about ridiculous words, it's like, come on, this is just silly now, kind of thing. And so we're somewhere like, and I have mad love for the BBC. Like, I listen to BBC World Service every day. That's how sad I am, okay? And I have so much respect for the BBC's contribution to music in this country. Like, there's amazing things that have been done through 1Extra, Radio 1, and I believe in supporting the BBC. But like I say, they're working under a lot of tight restrictions. So to be somewhere like Food Bar, that was...
Well, you can pretty much play whatever you want to play.
Play whatever we want to play, say whatever we want to say. I think that's important. If you're talking about trying to do a hip-hop show, I think that's important.
Because hip-hop was about expression. And if you can't express by playing those tracks, then what's the point of it?
Exactly. Hip-hop was something that was nurtured over years and years and years and cultivated, and that's how you end up having a Big Daddy Kane. That's how you end up having a Skinny Man. You know, that's how you end up then, you know, getting people having their mainstream successes and stuff. And so I just think it's always important that we remember that it's about hip-hop ultimately is the representation, the voice and the reflection of the people and the people's experience.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. And how can I tune into to Food Bar Radio? What's the...
Yeah, so Food Bar Radio, the link online is Foodbar, F-U-B-A-R, that's spelled, foodbarradio.com/shows/hip-hop. Me and Mice every week do a live show on Mondays 4 till 6 p.m. GMT. Every week we have guests in the studio, including international guests. I mean, just in this last month alone, we've had Akil, Jurassic 5, we've had Cool G Rap, MC8. In the past, we've had Chuck D on the show, Pete Rock on the show, Big Daddy Kane. I mean, even when I look at some of the people we've had on the show, I'm like, oh my God, kind of thing, like, because these are all heroes to me. That's actually the weird thing about being a woman in hip hop, like to spend your entire time looking up to men. You know, so all of my icons and my idols, they're all guys. Which is a bit whack in a way, but yeah, so we've had our international guests. We always have like the UK guests. Anytime people working hard in the UK are putting music out, I make sure that they're on the show. We make sure they're on the show. Every week we have a live open mic, so that's any MC who wants to take part and they feel they got the skills, they can email us at hiphop@foodbarradio.com and send their snippets through to the show, and then we'll invite them. On that same open mic, we also showcase beat makers and producers as well. We've actually like gotten work for people where they've hooked up through our open mic and now they're making music together, or they've sold beats as a result of appearing on the open mic too. We make some really beautiful video clips of the open mic, which then we share everywhere online as well. And you know, and I think hip hop, a big part of hip hop is the discussion and the talking in it. Like, because that was like a big part of Dealville, was just being in the shop and just chatting, not politicking. Yeah, and having having a laugh as well. And so, although in the UK we've always had those shows, like mixed shows, or where the emphasis is on like the playing the music, that's wonderful. I think it's been really interesting and nice for me and Mice to create a platform where you can talk about the world from a hip-hop perspective, and that's basically what we do every week. So you haven't got to be a hip-hop head to listen to the show, you know, because hip-hop is a reflection of the world, I think. And but at the same time, I hand on heart can say we look after hip-hop, and hip-hop lives with us every Monday at 4 p.m.
And what else you up to as well?
And so outside of that, I mean, this last week I was making a film about nuclear war. And I mean, I'm very passionate about many different things, from politics to the environment to diet to world issues, all kinds of things, health. And so, being involved in making this film about nuclear war, I think like fascinates me, and is sad that it's actually a really important issue, a current issue right now. I like to swim a lot, and I've been working. My career has really dictated my life for the last 17 years, where that has been the thing that has decided where I am, and so there's things that I've neglected, like time with friends and family. And I just remember when my niece was 10 and she turned to me and she was like, "You've never been in the country on my birthday before." And then I was like, oh my god, like I wanted to cry. I was like, that's horrific.
Felt really bad.
Yeah, because my life was just
revolved around DJing and hip hop.
Well, I just wasn't keeping still. I'd just be no more than 3 days in any one place and just on the move constantly. So you miss out on just being in London, or just being able to be at your niece's birthday, or catching up with your friends and stuff. So life is short. Like I said to you at the beginning, I was nearly killed in a car accident. I've had a few close death experiences, and so I think there's nothing more important than time with people. So I'm prioritizing that and things that I need to do for myself. I have other secret projects that I've been doing for the last 15 years as well, that I don't think anyone in hip hop knows about. And so that all keeps me busy. But yes, I have no guarantees how long I'm going to be on this earth for. So to me, it's important to do all the things that are callings in my heart, like spending time in the back of the Ultracab.
Exactly. And listen, Sarah, it's an absolute honour to have you back in the cab.
Oh, it was lovely being here.
I had a great chat about history and everything. It's a real honour to have you in the back. Last time, you've got to give shout-outs to anyone past and present. Is there anyone you want to give a shout-out to?
Oh my God, where do we start?
I know, you know a hell of a lot of people, but...
Well, oh my goodness. Well, I mean, there's so many musicians and things, like incredible musicians that I've learnt from. I mean, thanks to my parents, like I was able to know people firsthand, like Hugh Masekela, Miriam Makeba, Nina Simone, Dizzy.
Pete Real
of Deal Real, yeah. Shouts out to everybody who was part of Kung Fu, because that was such a beautiful time of my life and a beautiful time in hip-hop in this country as well. So whether you were just someone there in the crowd, whether you were on stage performing in the open mic, whether you're one of the stars, legends, like people who I hold close to my heart, I have so much love and appreciation for you. I think shouts out to fans of hip hop, because really it's all about the fans. You know, I'm a fan, and we wouldn't have none of this legacy if there weren't fans holding it down, you know. And then shouts out to all the mega stars who are just cool people, because there are some of these people are dickheads, quite frankly, and go on like divas, and then when you meet some incredible people who could be complete assholes, but they're so lovely and approachable. I respect that, and I learn a lot from that too. So I mean, and shout out to everyone who's just putting out good positive energy in the world and promoting the message of peace and love.
Yeah. And ban the bomb as well.
Ban the bomb. Definitely ban the bomb. There ain't nothing good that can come from owning a bomb. But no, shouts to you, Steve, because what you're doing is so important.
No, thank you, Sarah.
And I love every video that I've seen, so keep up the good work. I can't wait to see who else is going to be in the back of the Ultracab.
Well, actually, tomorrow I should be getting, hopefully, interviewing Ragga Twins in the back of the cab. I'm looking forward to that.
Dope. That'll be cool. Yeah, and Tony Monster. Get Tony Monster in the back of the cab. Seriously, he's got Tony's
watching this, and yeah, definitely, we'll get in touch.
Yes, Tony Monster Solar Radio. Check him out, because yeah, he's the man, definitely. Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anyone that I should be shouting out. You know that I love you, really. It's just, you know, like I'm not all there mentally, you know, kind of thing. So
it's an absolute honour to have you in the back. I hope you enjoyed being in the back of the cab and having a chat.
I did, and it's my honour and my pleasure, honestly.
Yeah, it's great to have you in. And listen, I wish you all the success with the hip-hop thing and everything else as well that you're involved in.
Oh, yeah, and you too. Definitely keep up the good work. So this is my stop time to jump out. I'm just going to try and leg it before I have to pay the fare.
The fare. It's great chatting to you.